Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to learn how to pass entries from journal to ledger. Before this, we have learned how to pass entries into journal account. But if you have missed that video, the link is given in the description box below. You can just go through the video so you get a clear picture about how the journal entries are being passed in the books of accounts. And from there now we will pass these entries into ledger account. So coming to the format of ledger, this is how you prepare a ledger. So suppose it's a cash ledger. So cash account will be the heading given. Then there will be a debit and a credit side to it. In the cash ledger, there will be 8 columns, particularly 4 for the debit side and 4 columns for the credit side. Now the columns will be date, particulars, journal folio and amount. Now, in the similar fashion, for the credit side, the columns will be date, particulars, journal folio, and amount. So now, if date is given of a particular entry, date of a particular entry will be written in the date column. Similarly, the account name will be written in the particulars section. Journal folio, now since we are not actually preparing company's account, this is just an example of it. So the reference basically is to be written over here in this particular column. Next is the amount. Amount, whatever the amount will be related to the entry, that will come in the amount column. Similarly for the credit side of the same ledger. So now let's start with the ledger. So our first entry is purchased goods worth rupees 50,000. So the entry, the journal entry for this was purchase account debit 50,000 to cash account credit 50,000. Now let's see how we'll pass this entry into ledger account. So there's a simple rule for passing journal entry to ledger account. So for example, let's see the first is a purchase account is being debited worth rupees 50,000. So now let's see in the purchase ledger. So in the purchase ledger, so now over here 2 ledgers will be made for the first entry. First ledger will be purchase ledger, that is the purchase account. The second ledger will be made is cash ledger, that is cash account ledger. So accordingly for each entry you have to prepare a ledger. So for example, now let's see the second entry is bank account to cash account. So cash ledger, cash account ledger will be prepared, which we have already prepared, so we won't prepare another one. This entry can go in the cash ledger itself earlier, which we had prepared here. Now bank account comes again, which is a new account, therefore we will have to create a bank ledger. So again over here bank account ledger will be created, and likewise for all the entries. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So now if I'm talking about purchase account, so in my purchase account in the debit side, I should have 50,000 as the amount as per my journal entry, right? Then always remember the opposite account will be the account that it will be registered with. So for example, purchase account, in the purchase account or in the purchase ledger, 50,000 is in the debit side as per the entry, but that will be for cash account, that will be named after cash account. So cash account 50,000 will come in the debit side of purchase account. Similarly, when we see about for the cash account over here is credited, right? So in cash account, in the cash ledger basically, in the credit side, you need to have 50,000 as the amount, which we have passed entry for 50,000 of this amount in the cash ledger. Now it will be recorded in the name of the opposite entry, that is purchase account. So it will be recorded in the name of purchase account. So again we got an entry of 50,000 with the name of purchase account. Now always remember the to and by rule. So any account in the debit side, it will be preceded by to, and any account in the credit side will be preceded by. Same rule applies for every entry. Now let's see the next entry. The next entry is bank account to cash account. This was a cash deposited in bank. Now, like I said, cash account, we have already created a cash ledger for it. For bank, we haven't. So now a bank ledger will be created for bank account. Now let's start with posting. Now for posting bank entry, bank again is in the debit side. So in the debit side, amount of 10,000 should come in the bank ledger account. So in the bank ledger account, in the debit side, 10,000 amount is already there. Next, it will be recorded with the name of the opposite entry, that is the cash account. So again, cash account is, it will be recorded by to cash account. Now similarly, now let's see this entry, second entry, that is to cash account. Now cash account is credited. Therefore, in cash ledger, in the credit side, an amount of 10,000 will be passed in the ledger of cash with the name of, under the name of bank account, since it's in the opposite, in the name of the opposite entry. Similarly, let's see the third transaction. The third transaction is being brokerage paid. Now the journal entry passed for this transaction was brokerage account debit 1,500 to cash account credit 1,500. Now cash account, we have already prepared a ledger for this. For brokerage we haven't, so a ledger for brokerage will be prepared. So we'll prepare a ledger for brokerage account. Now once we have prepared this ledger, we will now pass the entry. Brokerage account debit side is 1,500 is the amount recorded. Similarly, in the brokerage amount, we know that in the debit side, 1,500 amount should be recorded under the name cash account because it is the opposite side. So cash account, it will be recorded in the name of to cash account for 1,500. Now one small request, whenever you are posting these entries, the date in the date column, the date that for the entry will be recorded. So suppose in the brokerage account, the date is 3rd January 2020. So in the transaction, the date will be again 3rd January 2020. So you have to be careful of recording the date also with it. Coming back to the entry. So now for cash, in cash account, cash over here is in the credit side. So therefore in the cash ledger, in the credit side, an amount of 1,500 should come under the name of brokerage account. So in the cash account, in the credit side, we have got 1,500 under the name of brokerage account. Again, the date given over here is 3rd January 2020, which is already mentioned here in the journal. Now coming to the fourth transaction, capital bought in business. Now the journal entry passed for this was cash account debit 10,000 to capital account credit 10,000. So again, as per the rule in the cash account, that is the cash ledger, debit side 10,000 will come, the amount 10,000 will come under the capital account. So in the cash ledger, in the debit side, an amount of 10,000 will come under the heading capital account for the date 4th January 2020. So having passed this entry, now second is to capital account. So capital account is in the credit side. So in the credit side of capital account, 10,000 of amount will be passed under the name of cash account. So capital account again we will have to create. So over here we have created capital account, and in the credit side we have an amount of 10,000 under the account cash account, opposite account. So this is how we passed entry in the capital account. Now coming to the last entry, that is being furniture sold. So with sales of furniture, the entry passed will be cash account debit 3,000, profit and loss account 2,000, and furniture account 5,000. So over here only cash account ledger is what we already have, but for profit and loss account and furniture account we will have to prepare a ledger. So first let's pass entry in cash account ledger that we already have prepared. So in the cash ledger, in the debit side, an amount of 3,000 will come on the date of 5th January. So on the 5th January, in the debit side, an amount of 3,000 in cash ledger will come under the name of the opposite account given over here, that is furniture account. So now let's create a profit and loss account and furniture account. Over here it's already been created, profit and loss account and furniture account. So now for passing entry to the profit and loss account, profit and loss account debit side an amount of 2,000 will be given under the name of furniture account. So in profit and loss account in the debit side an amount of 2,000 will be given on 5th January 2020 under the furniture account name. Similarly, last entry, furniture account is credited with 5,000. So in the furniture account ledger, amount of rupees 5,000 will be credited. Now this amount will be credited in these because we have to give names of the opposite entries. So over here it 5,000 of the amount is bifurcated into 3,000 of cash and 2,000 of profit and loss account. So in the furniture account in the credit side a total of 5,000 will only come, but bifurcated into cash and profit and loss account. Let's see the entry in this ledger. So in the furniture account ledger, we have a total amount of 5,000 on 5th January, but bifurcated into two parts. Those are the opposites account, that is cash account 3,000 and profit and loss account 2,000. Now we will close all accounts. Now how we close all accounts is, first let's see for the cash account. The cash account we will simply take total of the greater column. So this column is greater, has more total, so the total comes to 61,500. Similarly, so this will be written in both the sides, the debit and the credit of the cash ledger, and the balance, the remaining balance from 61,500 after deducting 10 and 3, that is 13,000, a balance of 48,500 is received, which will be balance brought down. As on, the date will be 31st Jan 2020, ending date of that particular month. Similarly, let's see another example for the purchase account. The total, the heaviest side is 50,000, which will come over here. The balance of which will come over here. Similarly, in the both sides. Now over here, 50,000 is the balance amount. Since there was no amount, 50,000 will be the balance amount, the remaining amount, which will be on 31st Jan 2020. Similarly, it will be carried out for bank account, brokerage, and capital account. For bank account or the bank account ledger, we just recorded entry of 10,000. So that's the heaviest amount that will be given in the both sides. And the balance, that is the balance carried down. Similarly over here, the balance carried down will be over here 10,000, since no entry was passed on the last date of the month. Same for brokerage. Last entry was 1,500 for cash account, so that's the highest. Similarly, now the remaining balance will be carried down, which is again 1,500. For capital account again 10,000, sorry, in the credit. So for capital again 10,000 in the credit side is the heaviest amount, so that will be again added to the debit side, and then balance will be taken down, balance brought down since it's in the debit side on 31st Jan, the last date of the month, with the balance amount. Similar transaction will be done for profit and loss. 2,000 heaviest, and over here balance will be carried down on 31st Jan. It's the last date of the month. Now for the furniture, since there were two entries passed, the heaviest will be 5,000. We'll be writing it on both the sides, and over here on the last date balance will be brought down, which will be 5,000, because that's the only amount that would be pending.
If you really liked this video, please subscribe our channel and also hit the like button. Thank you.